Hello, this is Mick Foley, washed up, broken down wrestler, but #1 New York Times best-selling author, and you are watching Inside the Squared Circle.
Well, before we talk some wrestling, let's talk Valentine's
Sure.
Day. Is your heart aflutter with Valentine's Day? Do you feel it?
I'm a true romantic. I'm the type of guy who says to my wife, I'll get you flowers 2 days after Valentine's Day when it's a lot cheaper. And I somehow happen to make that sound not only logical but romantic at the same time. And I don't think the JR's barbecue sauce shirt hurts the mood either. People see that and their hearts start fluttering.
The warmth. They start feeling a little hot under the collar and warm.
It's the onions in the sauce, I believe.
Is that one of the tips that Dude Love would have for guys, to buy them 2 days after?
I don't think you'd be listening to anything Dude Love said. That was me as my chick magnet. And the thing that was kind of insulting about the dude is that he was considered a safe sex symbol, which meant that a girl could go to the matches with a guy and cheer for the dude, and the guy wouldn't be threatened. Whereas some of our better-looking WWF wrestlers, they might be threatened by. So it was kind of like Rocky Horror Picture Show, and that the girls could feel free to kind of go to the matches and pretend that I was hot. So at least that's what I found out later on. While it was going on, I believed it was all real. The women, the undergarments, I thought I was like a really heavy-set Tom Jones.
Love that. Baby. Kathleen Matthews is our 5 o'clock news anchor.
Okay.
Okay. If we could come up with something, a little Valentine-esque type, maybe it's a tip, maybe it's a greeting, something along those lines for Kathleen. Rennie's our sports guy.
Okay.
So maybe Rennie put you up to something along those lines. And we don't have to do it right this second.
Okay, I'll try to think of something.
You think of something about Kathleen, we'll come back to that. Let's do some wrestling.
Okay.
Is it good to be a commissioner? And now that you're not even that, is it good? Do you like it?
Yeah, I loved being the WWF commissioner. I said it was the easiest job in the world, but there was a problem with it, and it was strange in that I got such a much bigger reaction as the non-wrestling commissioner than I ever did as a wrestler. First off, it made me wonder why I even did as many dangerous things as I did. Right. And second, I was like, geez, this is an awful lot of, notoriety for somebody who's, isn't doing anything. It really, that's when being a public person became a problem for me. It wasn't when I was wrestling, it was when I was not wrestling.
A lot of more attention that surprised you?
Yeah, I think because I was on the air more, I was essentially being myself, and I don't know why people respond to that. I was always under the impression that my real personality was a lousy one. But the people kind of took to it and propelled me up there, but it was a little uncomfortable sometimes.
Did it take you several different characters and, almost 15, 20 years of experience to get to that point where you realized it's okay to be me?
I guess it did. It used to be strange because I would throw a lot of me into being Cactus Jack, and in the end, Mankind was a lot of me too. Yeah. But certainly, when I went out there, there was part of me that was, acting. And now, when I went out there as the commissioner, it was like I didn't prepare. I might look over a couple of points, but I just went out there and let things fly. And if it stunk, if I said a joke and no one laughed, then that was just part of the. I just made that part of the routine too.
It's the acting part. Some people have, or everybody has an impression about wrestling.
Sure.
I think anybody who is smart enough realizes it's not acting. And there's something that can back that up on the back of your book. 2/3 of an ear ripped off, 8 concussions, nose broken twice, broken jaw, 54 stitches, which actually I think is on one part of your body, over 325 total. Broken toe, torn abdominal, bone chips in your elbow, 2 herniated discs, separated right shoulder, broken cheekbone, and a partridge in a pear tree. Are you, when you wrote this book and see this, are you amazed by it?
It is a pretty impressive list, but that's compiled over 15 years, and that's barely over 20 stitches per year. And so when you break it down, it's really not that impressive.
Yeah, sure.
It is a lot, and I used to spend a great deal of time in the emergency room, and I guess when I became Mankind, or the latter day Mankind, when I brought out Mr. Sacco and started doing funnier things, was really out of necessity, because I just couldn't perform at that level anymore. I was really broken down and beaten up. It was a shame that I wasted so many good years basically doing all these wild things in front of nobody. Right. Dropping elbows off the ring apron in front of 150 fans in Tennessee, you know, it was kind of ridiculous. And here I am in front of 20,000 fans a night in WWF, and I'm like, ooh, ow, ee. And so, you know, I look back, and I at one time it was almost like a curse. Oh, I wrestled 15 years, and people are going to remember me as being a guy pulling a sock out of his tights. Yeah. And now I'm like, you know what? Maybe that's not such a bad thing, you know. I mean, I spent probably the first 12 years of my career wanting to make people think wrestling was real, you know, and then convincing nobody except, you know, my children and my chiropractor. And, you know, just the last few years, I'm like, oh, it's entertainment. I can entertain without getting hurt.
But if you hadn't have, you switch back.
Okay.
You've come to that realization that you can be you can be entertaining, and you don't have to dive off the top of a steel cage. But if you had not done all of those top rope elbows and tables and every other thing in, you know, Dallas, Texas, and Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Puerto Rico, do you think you'd be where you are?
Well, that's probably a good point, and probably a lot of the reason people were responsive to the guy pulling out the sock is because they deep down had some type of respect. It was like, oh, well, bless his heart, the poor slob is trying to make a little money. Now he's in the big time. So yeah, I don't think it would work for just anybody. Maybe you know, maybe it was a give and take type of thing.
You know, respect and pro wrestling fans are not necessarily always used in the same sentence. But do you feel that you've gotten that respect?
Yeah, I think yeah, for some reason maybe I'm on a, you know, on that different plane that only a few of the wrestlers are, and like I look at a Hall of Fame baseball player, you know, like Reggie Jackson, who I did an autograph show that he was on. It was like 5 Major League Baseball player Hall of Famers and me. Like, it didn't make any sense to me. And I'm thinking, there's Lou Brock and there's Steve Carlton, Reggie Jackson. People remember these guys 25 years after they stopped playing in some cases. And in wrestling cases, it's like 6 months on the shelf and you're forgotten about. And part of me hopes that's true. You know, it'd be nice to kind of have made my mark and disappear. But I'd like to think that, you know, by writing the book, and I've got a bunch of other things I've written, that, you know, I might have a narrower audience, but that, you know, people might still be interested in what I have to say.
Well, I think they're interested in what you have to say. That's been proven. New York Times bestseller, and your children's book has done very well. But have you really disappeared? Have you really gone away for 6 months and disappeared, or when will we see you
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there was some talk about me coming back very soon, and I just did something where Al Snow came to my house, and I, you know, gave Al Snow the commissioner's gavel and told him to go out there and strike fear into Vince McMahon's heart by becoming WWF commissioner. And I said I was happy at home, so I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, you know, Al Snow in a commissioner's job, I don't see that as being a long-lasting proposition.
I don't think Al ever got his props, you know.
Well, that's true, too.
I don't think he ever, I don't think
But I think he should have his props in the ring, not for being commissioner, because that's where he wants them to be, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the guy has copied literally everything else I've ever done in my career. Why not, why not do this, too?
Can he write?
I don't think so. I see some graffiti on toilet stalls.
Yeah. What's your next project?
Actually, I finished a follow-up to Have a Nice Day, and I'm looking hopefully at a publishing date of June or July, and it'll be very in-depth about a lot of subjects I didn't cover the last time.
Tease us a little bit.
Geez, I answer a lot of the criticisms against wrestling, and I think I show it in a realistic light, unlike the critics themselves do.
Right. Okay, that's a little bit of a tease. Give me some name associations.
Sure.
We'll start with the guy on your shirt, JR.
JR, the best in the business, and made me look like somebody back when I certainly wasn't.
Steve Austin.
Steve Austin, determination, came back better than ever.
The Rock.
The Rock, the next Schwarzenegger.
Al Snow.
The next Foley. At least he's hoping so.
He's hoping. Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon, the smartest guy I've ever met.
Jerry Lawler.
Jerry Lawler, incredible children's artist.
Yes. Terry Funk.
Terry Funk, my mentor, my idol.
Still. That's pretty
You
cool.
don't change those things.
No, I was going to say, that's cool, though, when you don't have something that happens to change
Yes.
that idol status. So that's good. Ric Flair.
Ric Flair. One of my favorite all-time wrestlers.
Really?
And, yeah, and that's, goes back to what my mother said about you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. So I'll leave it at that.
Up-and-comers. Guys like the Hardy Boys.
Hardy Boys need to learn to talk
Yeah.
so they don't, destroy their body for nothing.
Christian and Edge.
Christian and Edge, together with Foley, we were known as Gredgley. Big hits with the people in the television production truck.
Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle, wrestling's newest super nerd. I was the first.
I thought Bob Backlund was the first.
Yeah, but well, that wasn't by design.
Well, he couldn't help it.
He couldn't help it. Yeah, he certainly wasn't.
Bruno Sammartino. Let's go. I'm thinking old now all of a sudden. Bruno Sammartino.
Oh, bitter.
Dominic DeNucci.
Dominic DeNucci, that was my real mentor, my teacher. Without him, I wouldn't be in this seat here today.
And how do you feel about being in this seat here today?
I feel honored.
Really?
I think it's a combination of Valentine's Day and this seat that my heart is fluttering.
And that's all that's fluttering.
Yeah, that's all that's fluttering. I'm sure there's some brain cells rattling around in there that are fluttering too.
All right, I could go for a long time,
Okay.
but we're going to get you home. So let's think about Kathleen Matthews and doing something with her based around Valentine's Day.
What do you have? Like, give me a.
Well, I have a good impression that Rennie will not, who's our sports guy, will not be bringing her a gift today.
Okay.
So maybe it could be something coming to her defense about how good and how deserving of a Valentine she is, and she's the.
You got to sit next to him and sit every
Right,
day.
you got to sit next to Rennie every day. You are indeed the heart.
Okay.
Of that, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Anytime. Kathleen and Rennie.
Rennie. Okay.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yep.
To tell you the truth, I think it's a little bit disgraceful the way Rennie treats Kathleen. It's Valentine's Day, and I just don't foresee any gifts coming her way. I mean, I think Kathleen needs a man who will treat her right. Say a perfect Valentine's date. Somebody take her to the movies.
Yeah.
Sneak in some jumbo-sized candy so as not to have to pay the exorbitant movie prices, and maybe Hannibal for a movie and a heavy making out session.
Really?
Yeah, women love that.
They do.
Not when I do it, but I've heard tell there are women who do love that.
All right.
I know my Aunt Carol did.
Yeah, there you go. One more Valentine point. You growing up.
Yeah.
When did Dude Love invent itself, and how did Dude Love invent itself?
Dude Love came about when I was 18 years old and wanting desperately to be a wrestler. And you'll find it hard to believe now looking at me, but the women they weren't attracted. They were attracted in that, kind of, he's a nice, harmless guy type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the reputation for eating strange things did me in with the women. As I said years ago, it seemed that no girls in high school wanted to kiss a boy who had worms on his breath, and did me in. And so I created a fictional character who got all the girls, and that was Dude Love. And so I was able to play that out for real, or as real as the world of professional wrestling would let me get, in 1997 when women would storm the ring and throw undergarments at me. And so what if it turned out to be the makeup girl, the production assistant, and my wife? They have to find people. You mind hitting the ring? It was not like a big status symbol to be able to hit the ring and hug me.
It was Tom Jones, like the Jersey, the Atlantic City version of Tom Jones.
Yeah, and
huh?
I'll tell you what, the girls who hit the ring on me were throwing some mighty big undergarments. They were like John Candy and Planes, Trains, and Automobile size undergarments.
I hear you. But in real life, it's all worked out. Number one.
It's all been very nice. Yeah. It's all been very nice.
Beautiful wife and kids.
Beautiful wife, and she's my best friend, and